It's almost like we've done this before, boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, back. Do you want a coffee or a tea?
Yeah,
or
I'll tell you.
water,
I'll go coffee. I'll have the same coffee as I had last time.
Same
I
as
think,
last
if that's
time.
all right. Yeah,
That's all right,
that sounds absolutely great for me. Thank you.
Where have you been this morning?
I've just been not far away, just down the road.
Working?
Just seen a couple of customers. Well, no, actually one customer. Other person cancelled on me, but there we go. Now, actually, listen. Now, while you're doing the coffee, Dan.
Yes.
Important message.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start every episode with this, just so you know. Importance of PSA testing. Right. If you're watching this, right, and you're a male of our age, late 40s and above, or you're the partner of someone of that age, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, partner, workmate, neighbour, just anybody, right, that you know, just ask them. Go, have you ever had a PSA test? It's not hard, is it? Go and practice while I'm. Practice it now.
Have you ever had a PSA test?
There you go, right? Just ask them, and if they haven't, get them to have one, right? It's so important. You can buy tests online now, okay? You can get them on Amazon. I got mine done via the local Lions Club, right? So they do, every year they do them. I've done it the last 3 years. They send you an invitation out, free of charge. And all it is a blood test. It's not like a, finger up the doodah or anything like that. It is so simple. I left my house Saturday morning about 10 o'clock, back home by 11, and I got my result on Monday. It says all good, right? But, the flip side of that is someone very, very close to me, 55 years old, well, 54 when they had their test, in March of this year, was absolutely nagged by his wife to have a test. He got it done locally. I think it was the local Lions Club as well. Fast forward 4 months, he's at home recovering, having had his prostate removed. Because they found cancer, right?
Wow.
So he's 54 years old. He's now 55. Never had a PSA test. Had his PSA test. His levels were raised. So they then say, right, you need to go to your GP. Goes to your GP. Yes, they found cancer. Thankfully, it was very localised into prostate, and they could remove it. So we're just hoping, in the next few weeks, we find out whether it's been totally successful, and if it has, brilliant. But
Wow.
If he'd gone another 12 months and not had it tested, knowing that there's cancer in there, who knows? Could have spread, could have done anything.
Because that's the difference, isn't it? It's potentially, literally the difference between life and death is early detection.
It is. Because if I, again, someone very, very close to me, they've been living with it for over 20 years, right? They've had it for over 20 years, but it was detected very, very early. And they've managed to live life, right? Yes, with medication, yes, with, some complications here there, but you can live your life. But if they hadn't found it, then sorry, you can't. So I'm going to start every episode with that. I'm going to remind everyone, either have a PSA test or get somebody to have a PSA test. Let us know you've done it in the comments and I'll be over the moon.
And it reminds me, because I'm going to commit to you and to you. I'm going to do it because I've never done it.
You should.
And I'm really exactly the age. I should have done it long ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right, so we're doing it.
Yeah, there you go. There's a commitment. There you go. Anyway, that's the first public announcement out of the way.
Cheers,
We're
bud.
Back again. Cheers. Good to see you. You're not on the coffee today?
No, I'm on hip hop kombucha.
Oh, yeah.
Not sponsored yet. But if you're interested in our demographic,
coffee
get in
with
touch.
nothing in it. Now we're back again. First episode went down really well, didn't it? Got some great comments.
Do you know what? It was so heartwarming.
It was.
It was lovely.
It was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, seeing those comments. By the way, sorry if you all were hearing buzzing noise while he was talking about that important message. That was his coffee getting made.
Sorry.
It was me. Sorry. The comments that we got, not just on YouTube, but on Facebook and Instagram, where we linked to the YouTube video, were lovely.
They were.
And it actually made me think I couldn't wait to do more.
Yes, exactly. Hence,
Here we are. What we're talking about today, Carlito's Way.
Well, we had a little chat, didn't we? And, we know we've got loads and loads of topics we want to cover. And we thought we'd do travel. Just talk about where we've travelled to in the world and potentially talk about our top 3 places in the world.
There we go.
What did we like? What didn't we like? Let's try and make it as upbeat as possible. Let's not talk too much about the places we don't like, because there could be people watching from there, and then we've turned them off, haven't we?
Yeah. Actually, you did say we had quite a lot. Oh, hang on. Yeah.
So we'll keep it upbeat and what have you. So have you travelled a lot? You must have travelled a lot, Dan.
Dude, I've got an app called Bean.
Yeah.
Been, Bean, not like a eat bean. Eat bean. English is my first language, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
An edible bean. The app called Bean is brilliant because it's something really cool to do on a plane, actually, because if you're sat there with nothing else to do, you can just open this app and you can literally just see a list of countries of the whole world and a map, and you just tap everywhere you've been.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just fills it in orange on the world map.
Oh, I like that.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'll double check actually on my phone, I think I've been to 52 countries.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's
so I've travelled very well. And a lot of those countries I've been to multiple times. In fact, one of my top three, I think what we're going to do is talk about our top three, right?
Yeah.
But we can throw in anything we want because we make the rules. And there are no rules.
It's almost unscripted.
It's almost, we should... Hang on a second, that's where that's clever then. I went to one of these countries 22 times. I've been to another of these countries a dozen or more times easily. And we'll continue to go back as often as possible, I'm quite sure. Yes, I've travelled well. How about you?
Yeah. I don't think as well as you have. I don't think so. I've done quite a lot of Europe. I was lucky enough to move to America when I was 16. I did my last 2 years of high school in America. And from there, as a base, I travelled a lot in America with my parents, which was good. So I did a little bit of America. Well, I've done quite a lot of America. In fact, probably a lot more of America than a lot of my American friends have done because we got the opportunity.
Where were you based?
Houston, Texas.
Ah.
Yeah. So that was good. Honeymoon was over in Australia and New Zealand, which wasn't our first choice, actually. We wanted to go to Malaysia and Indonesia. But when we got married, it was just after the Bali bombing. And so they stopped all the travel and stuff to there. So we had to quickly change our honeymoon plans and we ended up doing New Zealand and Australia, which was fine. We had a great time, don't get me wrong. And I have been back to Indonesia. My parents lived in Indonesia for a couple of years. So I have been to Jakarta, which, again, absolutely loved.
Nice.
So that's really my extent of travel, mainly Europe, I would say. Yeah,
nice
I like
that you've lived abroad as well.
Yeah. Like I say, it was 2 years, last 2 years of high school in America, which was eye-opening, to say the least.
Especially Houston.
Well, yeah. Well, I left a tiny little village in Yorkshire of probably 500 people, if that, probably not even that, and I moved straight to Houston, Texas, with my parents. You know, my brother stayed at home because they were still they were in university. I'd just finished GCSE, so it made sense to go over there. And I remember getting there, and I had a really thick North Yorkshire accent when I first moved over there. And they had this open day at the school, at Kingwood High School in Texas, and we all broke up into little groups where they were doing like an induction day of, you know, this is the English hall and this is where you go to the toilet and all that sort of thing. And there was a guy there in like a Hawaiian shirt and shorts and bleached hair, and he was from Florida. And the people who were taking us around asking, because everyone was in the group, were new. Yeah, it was like an induction day. And they got chatting to this guy and they said, "Oh, where are you from?" He said, "I'm from Florida." And they were, "Oh my God, you've moved to Houston all the way from Florida?" I thought, right, yeah, wait till you get to me, love. Come on, bring it on. And then...
So they couldn't understand you when you said it. So.
No, so I went from being Carl to Carl. I mean, I can't say that's my name, Carl. And I'd have to say, all right, here we go. Carl.
There you go.
Oh, Carl. Yeah. Where are you from? England. And it was just ridiculous. It was like I was a performing monkey. So that was the Texas story. So yeah, went to Texas and was there for 2 years. And because Dad's contract was only for 3 years, so hence I moved back to the UK. I didn't do college or anything over there. I just did the last 2 years of high school.
Do you know what's interesting, mate? Is that this completely unrelated to travel, but it takes me back to episode 1, our intro, our inaugural episode, where you talked about a lack of confidence. And I thought, I reckon that, and you know, I had, my perception of you was you had a lot of confidence, and I would imagine that would give you an enormous amount of confidence.
100%.
Especially at that age, to go, that's a huge thing to do.
It completely did. Because I didn't go thinking to myself, oh, I'm going to have to be really boisterous. Because I've been at the same school in the same village all my life and whatever. You weren't anything other than just the norm. And so I didn't sort of think, oh, I'm going somewhere and going to be different, or I'm going to have to sort of hold my own or anything like that. I was just excited to go and live somewhere else, you know. And it was that first time. The 2 years of living in America, I will 100%, and my mum says it as well, they sort of made me, in terms of that confidence piece, without a shadow of a doubt.
There you go.
Because you had to be. You know, you simply had to be. And, you know, to the point, now this will make you laugh. And if I can find a photo, we can drop it in for you. I'm not too ashamed of it. I did get a homecoming prince within 3 months of me living there.
You're right.
I did.
It did make me laugh.
Honestly.
That's brilliant.
I remember being told, oh, by the way, the votes are in for homecoming prince. You're going to be junior homecoming prince. Well, right, what's that mean then? What do I have to do? And ended up having to walk on the pitch at the half time of the American football game.
There you go.
Bloody ridiculous.
Dude,
yeah.
You better have a photo of that.
I have got a photo. I'll just check with Lacey that she's okay with me sharing it. She will be. She'll be fine. Because basically I made her career, let's be honest. It was quite funny, because Lacey, who was the homecoming princess, she was about 6'2", and I looked about 12 when I was 16. So it was a really interesting picture. I will put it in, I'll send it across to you and you can pop it in.
That's our thumbnail right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, so there you go.
There you go. So this is going to overlap on how travel can develop you as a person as well, because
oh yeah,
I'm going to jump in and tell you my first. Like I said, I travelled a lot. I didn't. Interestingly enough, I didn't go abroad until I was 15.
Okay.
So as a family, we always went to Wales or Devon or Cornwall, Devon.
Yep.
Wales, Devon, and a couple of trips to the New Forest. My whole life up until I was 15, and then at 15, I think I was just about to be 16. My parents sent me and my brother to Canada, to Vancouver, where my mum's sister, my aunt and uncle, and their children, my cousins, lived. And so it was a wonderful experience, but it was very tame in terms of travel, because we were put on a plane by mum and dad, picked up at Vancouver Airport by aunt and uncle, at their house, completely looked after the whole time. So it wasn't travel.
Yeah.
And Canada's about as English as you can get.
But you've got on a
It was
plane.
amazing.
And you've gone a long way.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I had a wonderful time. And then almost... would have been maybe 9 months after that, at the age of 17. Couldn't have been 9 months after that, could it? It would have been a year and 9 months after that. And I was 17 years old. And don't ask me where this came from. Because like I said, my first experience of travel was that.
Yeah.
And so it was very cushioned, very kind of protected. And rightly so. I mean, I was 15.
Nice and easy, this job, yeah.
Yeah. And somewhere along the line, I developed an outright wanderlust and sufficient confidence, not that I even realised it was a requirement of this, but sufficient confidence to book myself a flight to Thailand at 17 years of age on my own, nothing booked other than the flight.
Amazing.
I went to Bangkok, I went on KLM, I'll never forget it. It was, it was an absolutely amazing experience. I flew to Amsterdam, changed planes, Amsterdam, somewhere in the Middle East, I think Abu Dhabi, and then on to Bangkok. And I didn't sleep a wink because I was just so excited looking out the window.
Yeah.
The clouds in the sky excited me because I was like, those clouds are over Africa or the Middle East, or they're over the Far East, and all these kind of... I'm sure Africa wasn't true, actually, because I wouldn't have flown over Africa.
No, I was going to say, it's a long way down. But
I was just so excited. Got off the plane in Bangkok, and having never been anywhere other than Vancouver, where the climate is exactly the same as here, I was hit by this wall of humidity. It was, little did I know, it was Thai New Year. For anyone who's been to Thailand, Songkran. If I'm not mistaken, it's April 12th, 13th, 14th, or 13th, 14th, 15th. Yeah. It's 3 days in April. And it's also a water throwing festival. It's a water festival, but they throw it a lot.
Right.
And it's an unbelievable experience. And it's the hottest time of the year as well. So I walked into, from a regular day in April in England, for whatever temperature that would have been, into what was probably 95 degrees and 95% humidity. Yeah. And where the doors of the airport opened to the street, it was like I walked into a wall. Yeah. And I was overexcited about that as well. Booked a hotel from the airport, went to that hotel. As I got out of the taxi, a bucket of water landed on my head from above. And I had no idea there was a water festival. I just thought, oh, that's nice, isn't it? Thanks very much for
cheers.
welcome.
It's not very nice here.
So, yeah, but it turned out everyone was throwing water on everybody. That's the bottle of water that's somehow managing to crack like that. Yeah, my first experience was Thailand on my own at 17. And
Amazing.
the reason I mention that is because in terms of confidence building, that for me was probably somewhat equivalent to your 2 years of high school in Houston, Texas. And just, I think it changed me forever.
I can completely understand that.
For the better.
But you're seeing people that you've never met before. And I don't mean, clearly, you could go down the road and see people you've never met before, but a completely different culture, completely different things that they eat, the people, different way that people eat, different drinks, all sorts of things. And you realise that the world is just a great place, isn't it? It's,
it's just, if you like immersing yourself in another culture as well, and I'm talking 1989 now.
Yeah.
Thailand's obviously on the map now. It's like on a huge part of the tourist map.
Yeah.
And most people have been there, or they certainly know that it's a tourist destination.
Yeah.
Back then, it was not the case.
It was almost just a stopover to Australia, wasn't it, in the past?
Yeah, people really, it was known to really sort of like intrepid travellers, but it really was not on the tourist map.
Yeah.
In fact, back then when I said I was going to Thailand, people would be like, why? What's there? What's in Thailand?
Yeah.
And it was. I loved it like that because it meant there was, Koh Samui was where I went.
Yeah.
And back then there was no airport. You had to get down to the south of Thailand and then a bus to the coast and then a boat to the island. Never mind the subsequent islands like Koh Phangan and Koh Tao, where you had to take even longer to get there. And because of the inconvenience of it, that was my doorbell, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't know.
Yeah, it was. Someone's at my door. We're filming.
It's not the tax man, is it?
Don't know. Could be. Hide the cameras. Thailand is the country I've been to 22 times.
Is it really? That's amazing.
Over a course of decades.
Yeah.
And I have to say, and Thailand's in my top 3.
Is it?
And actually, I'm going to say Thailand is number 3 of my top 3.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine. That's
it would have been at that time number 1 categorically, and for a long period of time, it would have been number 1.
Yeah.
The reason it's number 3 is because it's now arrived on the tourist map and it's really well travelled. It's really well visited. And I'd go to Koh Samui, and in the old days, like I say, you had to go by boat, and it was therefore so much less frequented by people. And it was just like something out of a movie. I remember I got off the boat in the main town of Koh Samui called Naton, and I'm just this 17-year-old kid, no idea what I'm doing, no idea where I'm going. I had nothing booked. So I'm walking down this street, and it's like a Thai street on an island in the Gulf of Thailand. And it's a world apart from anything I've ever seen. And I'm looking around, and I'm just like absolutely awestruck at everything I'm looking at. And I'm looking in every direction apart from where I'm walking, and I bump my head on a sign, and I kind of like duck to get the sign off my head, and it says Jeep for rent. And so I rented the Jeep.
Oh, brilliant.
I literally went and rented the Jeep that it was referring to. And it was like a open top Jeep Wrangler or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, just the most ridiculous luxury for a kid of 17. And I just started to drive around the island, and it was towards sunset.
They're the same side of the road as us as well, aren't they, Thailand?
No.
Are they?
Actually, good question. I can't remember. It's a really good
Completely
question.
irrelevant, by the way. Sorry.
In the comments, let us know which side of the road. It's a great question. I can't remember.
I thought they did. I might be wrong. Anyway, sorry.
You're probably right. It could have been the same side as us. But either way, I was driving. And
Well, can you remember where you were in the car?
In the front. I remember that. Because I was the only one there.
Anyway,
this week's episode is going to be about sport.
I digress.
I literally just stopped at the first beach I saw and thought, do I want to be here? And I didn't quite feel it. So I drove a bit further around, checked a couple of places out along the way. And as it was getting towards sunset, I was thinking I need to stop soonish.
Yeah.
And because I didn't want to be driving around in the dark, not knowing where I was.
Fair enough, yeah.
And I found this utter paradise. And it was a little beach called Bo Put Beach, which then had 4 bungalow operations on it in its entirety. It was picture postcard stuff, white sand beach, palm trees at an angle.
Oh, lovely.
It was, turquoise water and these little huts dotted about. And I stopped and stayed in a hut, and I stayed there for the whole time I was on Koh Samui, which was basically the rest of my trip, like 2.5 weeks. And the hut cost me $60 pence a night.
Jeez.
And that's not just because of how old I am and how long ago it was.
Yeah.
A shilling, whatever. It wasn't that. It was partly that, but it was also, it's still unbelievably affordable. And you'd go out and have a meal and it would be £2.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
It was just unreal. It was just brilliant. And it was, at that point in my life, it was by far the most profound, brilliant, wonderful, eye-opening experience I'd ever had.
I can imagine.
Travel, man.
Yeah.
Travel.
I think at this point we should actually apologise to the people of Thailand, because after this, the flocks and herds that are going to be going after, all our viewers decide to go on a 2.5 week trip. So sorry, Thailand.
That's almost a 16-seat plane load. Well, funny you say that, because the flocks is why it's only number 3 on my list.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Because when I went back more, and I think the most recent time I've been there is at least 12, 15 years ago. So I'm going back quite some time from now to when I last went, maybe 2010 or somewhere around there. And when I was then riding around Koh Samui, there's KFC, there's Boots, there's resorts. It's
not the same place. Well,
and I understand why, because it's people like their convenience, and I'm not saying that to become civilized is a problem. And when I say civilized, what I mean is,
I know exactly what you mean.
To have all of those conveniences around you, rather than it to just be a paradise island.
Yeah.
But I prefer a paradise island.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree. Somewhere similar, actually, that I went while we were living in Texas. We went to a place called Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, and at that point in 1989, same. Everybody used to go to Cancun or Acapulco, but Puerto Vallarta has sort of just got onto the map, and we went, and it was just brilliant, completely unspoiled. It was just absolutely fantastic.
Love it.
And now it's like a Cancun and what have you, same thing. But it's market forces, isn't it? That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
So you've got Thailand in 3.
Yeah.
My number 3
Go on.
is Texas. So I've put Texas in there because the memories, because travel's not necessarily about how beautiful somewhere is or whatever. It's about who you spend it with and what happens while you're there and all that sort of things, isn't it? So I've put Texas in there because it was just a part of my life that just elevated so many different things. And on top of that, I was a young lad who moved over there from Yorkshire that's got an identity. I don't know if you're aware or not, but, Yorkshire's got an identity, and Texans are very similar. You know what I mean? Well, we're Texas, we're the biggest and best and greatest and what have you. And I don't mean that in any other way other than it has an identity. And I just remember being there, and within a couple of days, just listening to the radio, and there's country music on the radio and stuff, and it was just, this is real. This is not just a film I'm watching. So, and I made some great friends in Texas as well. Had the opportunity of travelling other parts. We did quite a lot in Texas itself, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, down to Corpus Christi. We went down to Brownsville and, just nipped over the border to Mexico and stuff, which is a little bit more of a challenge nowadays, I'm sure. But so we saw a lot of Texas. And, just Texas in itself is a great, great place. I remember we did one holiday where we stayed in El Paso, which is right on the very west coast, west tip of Texas, on the border of Mexico. And we spent the final night of our holiday in there, and we drove 8 hours to Houston in the same state.
That's unreal.
And then there's another hour and a half to get to Louisiana.
That's the whole of England.
The whole of the UK.
Top to bottom, isn't it?
Yeah, just absolutely crazy. So, Texas is my number 3.
Well, here's an interesting little one. This whole conversation we had about how we know each other in the first place. And of course, that's when I was working at Compaq. And
based in Houston.
Based in Houston.
Yeah.
And so Houston I've got very fond memories of Houston. So I went there about 7 or 8 times with Compaq. Did you ever go with Compaq?
So I actually went to Compaq while I was working at one of Compaq's customers, Ingram Micro.
There you go.
So we did a trip out there, and actually where Compaq was, it was in the north of Houston. It's now HP, obviously. Was about 20 miles from where I used to live in Houston. And 20 miles in Houston is like 3 miles here. Relatively close to where I lived as well. So it was good. In fact, I timed it. So I went to my 10-year high school reunion after the little trip to Compaq. I stayed behind for a little bit and did the 10-year high school reunion. So it was good. Really, really good.
I nearly moved there.
Huh?
I nearly moved there with Compaq.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was seriously excited about getting a job over there. I nearly moved there, and then I nearly moved to Sydney, Australia, with Compaq.
Yeah.
Because Compaq was one of those companies that you could, for anyone who doesn't know Compaq, as Carl says, it's now HP. It was because it was bought by HP in 2000, 2001.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
It was at the time the biggest deal in European computer industry history.
Yeah, by mile, yeah.
Billions and billions of dollars. And it was the biggest computer company in the world for many years, wasn't it? It was the most successful.
Yeah.
And because of that, there was huge opportunity to go. The worldwide headquarters were Houston, Texas.
Yes, yeah.
And then they were dotted all over the world. And I very nearly went to Houston, and then started the process of going to Australia. And the only reason I didn't is because of the exchange rate.
Okay,
and how it would have actually meant a massive, even though I'd have been in Australia, because I knew I wasn't going to live in Australia forever.
Yeah.
I knew that when I did the same thing in reverse, I'd suddenly be thinking, how am I going to increase my salary accordingly? Because it would have been about double.
Yeah, that's a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah. But loved Houston, Texas. Yeah. Loved it.
Great place. Really, really great people. And I still have a massive affinity to the sports teams as well. I follow the Astros baseball, Rockets basketball, obviously Houston Texans, American football and stuff. So, yeah, I've got a real affinity. I was only there for 2 years.
What happened to the Houston Oilers?
Well, they got, because all in America is all franchise.
Right.
So the Houston Oilers franchise went to Tennessee, and they became the Tennessee Oilers. So there was no American football in Houston for, someone's going to correct me here, but a fair few years.
Right.
And then a new franchise came out, which was the Houston Texans. And then Tennessee Oilers became the Tennessee Titans, I think. So the Oilers no longer exists. But yeah, there's a big rivalry between Houston and Tennessee because of that. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go, exactly.
So Houston's... And it's not, so we're not saying the US. We're saying Houston specifically is your number 3 destination.
Yeah, well, I've said Texas because it's if that's all right, we can. I can get away with that.
Fine. I'm going to break the rules in a sec as well.
Okay,
I'm going to put a whole continent in.
Love it. Well, let's a nice little segue into our second place.
I think you should go with your second place.
My second place. Okay. Well, my second place is not a long way away. Okay, and I've gone with Barcelona and surrounding area.
Okay.
It's the place I've probably visited the most. As a city, I just love it. Okay. I love everything about Barcelona. And I know it's got its bad points. There's a lot of, pickpockets, everyone talks about it. I, touch wood, have never had a problem.
Good.
There. I think there's so much to do in a small area. But the reason why I've said Barcelona and the surrounding areas is because a few years ago, we went on a family holiday to a place just outside Barcelona. Typically, it was one of these, we had a lodge on a big site with a big pool and entertainment and stuff in the evening and all that sort of thing, because the kids were younger. And it was great, it served a purpose. Well, one of the days, my daughter wanted to go to the pool and all that, that's fine, do that. And my son wanted to go and see something. He doesn't like sitting around pools and stuff. Fine, not a problem at all. So my wife took him to a little place called Sitges, which is just south of Barcelona. And to put it bluntly, we literally fell in love with the place. It is just fantastic. And we've been there probably 5 times now. I'm going again this summer to Sitges. And it's 40 minutes on a train from Barcelona, just down the south. The train track all the way up the coast is beautiful. All the little places up there are beautiful as well. There's a huge LGBT influence in there. So because of it, the vibe is just, everybody's chilled. It's just, you can be yourself. You can do whatever you like. There's a lot of nudity and stuff like that. But do you know what? I could be dressed as a zebra in Sitges and nobody looked twice. Nobody looked twice. It is just...
I'm going to AI that.
So honestly, it is just, what, me in a zebra suit or Sitges?
That's going to be our thumbnail. You as a zebra in, how are we spelling Sitges?
Sitges.
Sitges, okay. Just so that we can look it up.
It's just lovely. It's a lovely little town. There are a lot of tourists, but it's kept so much of that uniqueness of tiny little village within Catalonia. So yeah, we just absolutely love it. And again, we're quite boring going back. But when you spend so much on a holiday now, you might as well go somewhere you're going to enjoy, don't you?
I agree. Well, like I said, I was back in Thailand 22 times over the years, so I do like to broaden my horizons and go elsewhere. But I agree. When it's a sure thing and you're going to have a great time, and you've got a week or two, and you've got a bit of money to spend on a holiday. Yeah. It's a hell of a good option. Go somewhere you're going to love.
And also something I touched on actually was, my daughter would wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, go swimming until 9 o'clock at night, and literally not speak to anyone else, just literally dive in a pool all day or sit on a beach. She just loves that. My son's got no interest in that at all and never has. So he likes the going to see new towns and walking around and stuff like that. So as a family, we've had some fairly challenging holidays, right? Where do we go?
Sounds like it, yeah.
But this Barcelona and surrounding area is just perfect for it because we can go to Sitges and within 40 minutes be in Barcelona. And if one of us wants to stay behind and go to the pool, we can do that while the others go to Barcelona, or we spend one day in Barcelona and the next day by the pool.
Brilliant.
It's just, and you've got the beautiful beach. And actually, the other thing about Sitges as well in August is they have their Festa Mayor, which means big party, I think. There's my Catalonian coming out. And it sort of ends with a firework display on the Saturday night. And it's the last 2 weeks in August, the last week in August, maybe 2 weeks, I can't remember. And they're just the most incredible fireworks with the backdrop of this beautiful old church in Sitges and stuff as well. So, it's just love it. As you can tell, I'm quite excited about the place.
You know what I love about this, though, is that it's one of those things that there's a huge, I was going to say an infinite number, but clearly that's not the case. But as far as a conversation like this, there's an infinite number of places where you could throw into the mix. And it'd be like, because it would never have occurred to me. And it's interesting that Europe's not even made my top 3. Nowhere in Europe. And I love so many places in Europe. Yeah. So when, like in my mind, a little town south of Barcelona, is it south?
Yeah, just south. Yeah.
It would, it would never even have occurred to me as a place to visit. And boom, there you go. Another little destination to go and give it.
2 hours on the plane as well.
There you go.
Not far.
See, that's one of the things that really appeals to me about Spain and Portugal. And as someone who wants to get out of the UK in the long run, it's a really appealing option.
It really is.
To get somewhere like Spain.
Yeah.
I just watched I'm a geek with the old bird watching and the wildlife. I love wildlife and photography.
Yeah,
wildlife photography. And
it's not geeky, Dan. I like that.
Excellent.
Or maybe I'm a geek then as well. I don't know.
No, but I think we'd be. I was watching another video the other day, YouTube video the other day, of someone literally sort of apologetically saying, I know I'm a nerd, I know I'm a geek, but I've got into this thing, I'm not that old yet, but, and then he said, bird watching and wildlife watching, and I was like, I've been doing that all along.
Awkward.
I've been doing it since I was a kid. So I probably am a nerd. I don't care, I love it. And this guy was going to a place I can't remember the name of, unfortunately. If I can find it, I'll put it up on the screen. And it's about an hour and 3/4 north of Madrid, if I'm not mistaken. And it looked like something from where people go on landscape photography holidays in Utah or something.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
There were canyons and rock, and they were photographing golden eagles.
There's so much in Spain.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, northern Spain particularly, and I've not been to northern Spain at all. I will be doing this year, but the geography up the north is so different to the south. And I've seen a lot of fishing videos where people go to northern Spain. It's brilliant fishing up there as well and stuff. Yeah, there you go.
Got to give it to Spain.
Yeah,
hats off to Spain.
I have to be careful here though, because my son will kill me if we don't say Spain and Catalonia, because he's very much about recognising Catalonia.
Okay. There we go. So you've done it.
I've done it.
Because we've got a lot of Spanish viewers.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, and hopefully some Catalonian ones.
Oh yeah, and them.
I'm not watching this anymore.
So yeah, you don't swipe, do you? That's something else. So my second place.
Yeah.
This is where I said to you, you can break the rules.
Yeah, go on. It's not Thailand again, is it?
Yeah, no. It's too varied for me to just say I can't. I have to just basically go with the continent to begin with, but then I will narrow it down.
That's fine. Yeah.
Africa.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
Now the thing about it is that you could say Africa and then you could mean Morocco.
Yeah.
Or you could mean Botswana.
Yeah.
And they couldn't be more different from one another. And
fair.
I'm talking about, won't surprise you because of what I've just said, I'm talking about wildlife in Africa. And it's actually hard to imagine me saying that this is my number 2. Because for the iconic wildlife that's in Africa, it's unparalleled anywhere
stunning,
in the world.
Isn't it? Yeah.
It is number 1 in that regard. And when you're in an African safari scenario and you're seeing in the wild for the first time elephant, lion, rhino, these things that you've seen only on David Attenborough documentaries or you've heard about.
Moving, isn't it?
It's so profound.
It is. Yeah.
Moving is exactly what it is. It's like it's soul stirring.
It is.
I had an experience. I've been very lucky with Africa. Mostly, I have to thank my friend Margot, who I've been to Africa with twice, but to 4 different countries. And I should actually get the book out, and I'll certainly do a link to it, because Margot created a book called Remembering Wildlife, and it's in a nutshell, basically what it is beautiful collection of photographs, and all of the proceeds from the sales of this book go towards conservation of the species that the book covers.
Fantastic.
So she started with Remembering Elephants.
Yeah.
And then she and I became an ambassador for her charity, and then as part of a transparency effort to make sure that people saw what good had been done from the proceeds of the book, we went to Kenya to see some of the projects she'd funded, and then also to suss out, to recce another species for the next book.
How brilliant.
Which turned out to be Remembering Rhinos, which is how I met Sudan.
Yeah.
Sudan being the last, at the time, the last male northern white rhino, who subsequently died and leaves only 2 of that species, his daughter and granddaughter.
Good Lord.
Absolutely the most profound, genuinely the most profound experience I've ever had in my life was meeting Sudan. Because you walk around this corner. He was by this time 42 years old.
Yeah.
And he was very, very elderly and very sort of serene, and was sat there. And I knew I'd see him. I didn't realize I'd be able to sit with him and put my arm around him.
No way.
He's the size of a transit van.
Yeah.
And I was literally sitting with this incredible animal. Talk about moving.
Jesus.
And he's the last of his species. So here's me, a guy who's very much into the wildlife conservation,
Yeah.
and I'm staring extinction in the face. And I promise you, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, it took me about 20, I was supposed to basically do a piece to camera for Margot to say, this is Sudan, this is why we're doing Remembering Rhinos next, and so on and so forth. And it took me about 20 minutes to stop sobbing. Sobbing like a child.
Completely understand that, yeah.
Because this mammoth beast that is literally the last living male of his species, and the only 2 females remaining are his daughter and granddaughter.
Incredible.
Absolutely. They're trying to Jurassic Park them to this day.
Yeah.
They're still trying to, do the whole embryo thing.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But it will be a crossbreed of the southern white rhino and the northern white rhino, because we've basically made the northern white rhino extinct. But when you have experiences like that,
how is this 2? How is this number 2 on your list?
this is what I'm saying. It's ridiculous that it is. It shouldn't be possible. But I can explain why.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
But in terms of wildlife and in terms of the actual the visual experience, I mean, it's second to none. It is ridiculous that I've put it in second place. And I have, again, and here's a more beautiful experience, because it was profound but deeply sad meeting Sudan. But I remember we were driving through a place in Kenya called Meru National Park, and Meru is very different from, for example, the Masai Mara or the Serengeti, which is very traditional African plains that you see in the Attenborough documentaries. You see for miles, and you just got herds of zebra and wildebeest and the odd lion, the leopard, and so on, which is spectacular. So Serengeti and the Masai Mara are the same ecosystem. They happen to be 2 different countries, but the animals don't need to respect the borders. So it's the same. It's just out of this world. Yeah, absolutely out of this world. And perhaps I'll drop in a couple of examples of my photos from
brilliant.
there.
No, do that'd be amazing.
It's next level. I mean, it's astounding. And Meru is very much more lush and green. So it's not like you're just looking at the plains and seeing things, but you'll be driving through fairly dense greenery, and then all of a sudden you'll round a corner and there'll be a herd of elephant or something. So it's quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
And we came around this corner, and there stands an elephant, which I was told was an adolescent male, and he had 1 tusk. I am going to share this photo. I had probably about, it wasn't this camera gear, but I had probably about 20 grand's worth of camera gear with me at the time, and I couldn't use any of it. I just was so moved by this moment where this elephant stood. It's hard to explain. It couldn't have been more than the width of this room. Maybe, what is that, 15 feet?
Yeah.
It couldn't have been much further away than that. And he just stood there, just silently. And we were in one of those safari vehicles that's extended. So the driver and my friend Margot were in the front seats, and I was at the very back. So there was a good sort of 10 or 12 feet between us. And this elephant was very specifically standing, just looking at me, very calmly, just chilling. And I was looking at him, and all I did was, the only photograph I took of him was with my phone. I ignored my 20 grand's worth of camera gear.
Yeah.
And he had this 1 tusk, and he stood, and then he halved the distance between us. He just very, very, and there was no threat. There was no trepidation. Nothing. There was nothing threatening about this situation. So it might sound kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. There was just this energy about him was so calm. In fact, he was standing and he was swinging one of his front legs, just sort of kicking the dirt, just like this.
Way.
And then he just moved. And I could literally feel his warmth.
Yeah.
And hear him breathing. And then he walked 2 or 3 steps forward and halved the distance between us to about 7 or 8 feet. And he was standing there for what, I don't know, actually to this day I don't know how long it was. It was probably 3 or 4 minutes. It felt like an hour. And every now and then he would sigh and he'd continue kicking. And I'm talking, his foot was this size. Yeah. And he would just be swinging his foot and just kicking. And then he picked up a stone with his trunk and he just threw it a little bit in front of him.
No way.
So I was just mesmerized with this incredible animal. And as he very slowly started to walk away, again, I just burst into tears. I was so moved by this experience.
I totally get it.
I just burst into tears. That this incredible animal that could have flipped us over and killed us all in an instant chose to just share some time with us silently.
It's incredible.
Nothing wanted in either direction, no threat in either direction. Just spent some time in our presence. Gave us some time in his presence, and then off it went. And then wandered off.
Absolutely,
and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life.
That.
In fact, how in the world am I saying this is number 2? It's not. It's ridiculous. I might have to make it joint. You know, you can have like 2 gold medals and then a bronze.
Yeah, you could, couldn't you? Yeah.
Might have to be that.
Okay, well, we'll let them decide, shall we? But no, that's pretty decent. That is, to be fair. And I've done safari once, and I share that feeling of. I remember the first time we saw a giraffe, for example, that it's real, and you actually find after 2 days you see them and go, it's just a giraffe. You just become blasé about it, and it's only when you come away from it you're thinking, why didn't I give? Even though I'd already seen some, I still should have been as excited as I was the first time, and you just become sort of immune to it, don't you? But seeing it in the wild, and when we went on a safari, similar type of vehicle, I think. And we were just going along, and we were there for 3 days, I think, and a bit of it was contrived, right? They know where to go to see the rhino, and they know where to go to see wherever. This was Pilanesberg, it was called, just north of Johannesburg. Yeah. And we were going along, and I just happened to look sort of up the hill, and I sort of said, "Oh, excuse me, is that a big cat on the hill?" And the guy stopped, and you could actually see that he was excited. Because this wasn't sort of part of the plan. And he goes, yeah. And he got his binoculars out and he looked up and he looked down and he goes, look down there. And there was like a little, what's the word? Kudu down in sort of under the trees. Yeah. And this big cat, and I can't remember if it was a leopard or what, was stalking it. Ooh, and so he's straight on the walkie-talkie to tell all the others to come around. Before we knew it, there was 7 or 8 behind us, and we watched this stalking of this kudu down the corner. And cut a very long story short, probably about 10 minutes, and this thing just edged and edged and edged and edged and edged, and it got within probably 3 or 4 meters, and it just got spooked. And it ran off, and nothing. We didn't see a kill or anything like that. But just seeing that in action, and you could tell that was real. That wasn't contrived. That was
can't be.
That was just happening. So amazing, absolutely amazing.
It's next level. Africa, and seeing that in
it's beautiful, isn't it?
First hand, with your own eyes, not on TV.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It doesn't matter how many of those Attenborough documentaries you've watched.
I agree.
There's nothing compared to the smell.
Yeah.
The feeling of Africa, the sounds of the birds in the trees. It's unbelievable.
The sounds. The one that got me was lions.
Yeah.
You've got these males, and you're within about 15, 20 metres of these males, and they sort of just do a little bit of and the depth of the noise, it's just
vibrates
incredible.
Your insides, doesn't
Absolutely
it?
Incredible, isn't
Absolutely incredible. Yeah. And I have to give it to Africa as well in terms of scenery. Like I said about Masai Mara and Serengeti, and I'm going to share a photograph I took in the Serengeti of morning, because obviously you go out to do photography at dawn. So you're out pre-dawn and you get to see the sunrise and the mist rising off.
Just incredible.
It's out of this world. And I have to say also again, and it's a huge thanks to my friend Margot who made these trips possible. With her, I've been to Rwanda to see the gorillas, in the wild, to Tanzania for the Serengeti, but also for a place called Greystoke Mahali to see the chimpanzees in the wild.
Amazing.
And Greystoke Mahali, I have to give it, it's one of only 2 places on Earth, and the other one is my number 1 place, where I've been, where I've looked and thought to myself, this is what the world was like before man.
Wow.
This is how it should look if we hadn't, intervened. And this place in Tanzania, you fly to a little grass airstrip from where you get a boat, and then the boat's on Lake Tanganyika.
Yeah.
So over the water is the Democratic Republic of Congo, and we're on the Tanzania side. And this lake is huge. I mean, it's like, as far as you can see, it looks like an ocean. And from the airport, you go on the boat, and as you're passing the land, you see less and less huts dotted about, and then you see nothing but mountains and forest and lake. And you're sailing for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. There's nothing there. As far as the eye can see, there's no roads, there's no houses, there's no human habitation at all for miles and miles and miles. And this is where Jane Goodall did all of her work when she was over there. And then suddenly you come around this clearing, and there's a magical place called Greystoke Mahali with like the A-frame bamboo huts, and it was just absolutely off the chart incredible. And it's Africa as real as it gets. It's not the sort of traditional sort of like you're going to see elephants, lions, anything like that, which isn't a bad thing in some senses, because you can actually go and enjoy the beach.
Yeah.
But there's hippos, there's crocodiles, and there's chimpanzees, the baboons. It's absolutely extraordinary. Wow. It's one of the most magical places I've ever been, particularly because, as I say, it looks like a place, and I'm sure there's very few of them remaining.
Oh, there will be,
untouched by the hand of man.
Incredible.
Staggering place.
Love it, love it.
And that's number 2.
Yeah, I know, blimey.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, listen, in the interest of time, we should get on to our all-time favourites then, shouldn't we? Really?
After you, sir.
Okay, so mine, I touched on it a little bit before, really, in that it's not just necessarily about the places, it's about who you're with at the time and what goes on, and all, it's about your experience of the place. And for me, this was number 1 before I'd even thought about anything else, really, and it's a place called Waiheke Island, just off Auckland in New Zealand. And as a place, would you say it's stunning? Yeah, probably is stunning, but there's probably other places that are as nice. But it was on a honeymoon. And we got a little ferry across to Waiheke, maybe 40 minutes or so. I don't know. I might have completely messed that up. It might be longer, might be shorter. Can't remember. Then we did a little bus tour of Waiheke, which is just little island, but loads of vineyards on there. Loads and loads of vineyards. And they dropped us off at various little bays that we could just go and have a look at. And then they bring you back to the ferry port. When we got back to the ferry port, we said, look, we're going to have, while we're here, we need to go and have a meal in one of the wineries. And this guy said, well, look, I can take you, the local taxi driver. He said, there's one that's got the best view of Auckland, and it's basically got a 360-degree view of Auckland. And it's sort of, way off in the distance. So he got us in the taxi, took us up there, and he said, you wait here, because it can get busy. Let me see if there's a table for you. Great, thank you. It came out and said, yeah, they can get you a table. Unfortunately, there's nothing outside. Now, these outside tables, like I say, was a 360-degree view. You've got the beautiful sea, loads of little islands there, and then Auckland in the distance. Beautiful food, beautiful wine. What more do you want? But we couldn't sit outside, which was a bit of a shame. But we were there on a honeymoon. We were in high spirits. We were just having the time of our lives, and we'd ordered our food. And these guys were saying, oh, well, what are you doing here? Just on holiday? And we said, oh, we're on a honeymoon. And they said, oh, we could tell. You're just beaming while you're talking to each other and everything. You're just so happy. And about 10 minutes later, one of the waiters came over and they said, look, I can't get you a table outside yet, but those people have just left. Do you want to move to there, which is a little bit closer? I said, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah. Cut a very long story short, other people left. Get your food. We'll take you out. And we ended up with the best table outside Waiheke Island with wine that was produced there.
Wow.
Beautiful food, cheese board, dessert. Would you like it? Yeah, I'll have one of them. Yeah, I've not told you what it is yet. Don't care. I'll have one. We're just in that frame of mind. We'd had coffee. We'd had everything. We just got married. The weather was probably 75 degrees, clear blue skies, no humidity, beautiful sea, view of Auckland. And honestly, if you could take me back there tomorrow, I'd just do it in a heartbeat. It was just wonderful, absolutely brilliant. The people were brilliant, the food was brilliant, the view was brilliant. Just everything just fit into place. Was just absolutely fantastic. So that for me is
That's number one.
Waiheke Island. I'd go back tomorrow. Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what? It's wonderful hearing you talk about it. And my friends, if you haven't travelled, this is why you need to travel. It's that experience you've just relived. Like the energy is palpable.
Oh, completely. Yeah,
same as when I'm talking about my Africa experiences and what's coming next. And it's just like those memories that you build from travel. They're different in some way.
They hit different, don't they? Definitely.
They hit different.
Yeah, they really do.
Just travel's so incredible.
It is. And to the point, like I mentioned, the vineyard, you know, we bought a few bottles of the wine from there. It doesn't taste the same when you get back home. It doesn't, you know, it tastes like that because you're there and you're living it. And, you know, it's all about the experience, isn't it?
It's so true. And by the way, I think we should probably add, because I know a lot of people these days, and rightly so, are very conscious of their carbon footprint. So, of course, travel doesn't
No,
have
it's
to
a really
mean going
good point.
abroad.
No, it's a really
right?
good point, yeah.
Travel could mean going to the coast in your own country.
Yeah, completely.
Or just somewhere new.
Which we're completely blessed with, let's be honest.
Oh, my God. I mean, some of the most incredible... I just went down to Cornwall a few months ago simply to take my cameras and film the ocean hitting the cliffs.
Just stunning, isn't it?
It's heavenly.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely heavenly.
Yeah.
As is my number one choice. And it takes some beating Africa. And actually, as I said it, and I mean it sincerely, as I say it, I'm like, God, what am I talking about? However, Costa Rica.
Do you know what? I knew it would be Costa Rica because you mentioned it in the first episode.
And I plan on living there because I love it so much.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference between Costa Rica and Africa, clearly. Least not the wildlife. I mean, the wildlife in Costa Rica is spectacular. It's a tropical place. There's lots of jungle, rainforest. You've got toucans, you've got scarlet macaws. Again, I'll share some photographs that I've taken. You've got monkeys of all sorts of different species. You've got butterflies that look like they're out of a Disney movie. Sloths, dolphins, whales, turtles. It's absolutely spectacular. And I've often described Costa Rica to people by saying it's as if Disney created a country. Wow. And you're like, it's a little bit over the top, isn't it? But it's actually real.
Yeah.
And when I say over the top, I mean in terms of nature.
Yeah.
I've got the benefit of having been to Costa Rica since the first time 2004, and most recently last year. So 20 years apart, 4 different visits. And I can tell you that they really put their money where their mouth is in terms of their progressiveness, their environmental policies, and their not overdeveloping.
Good on them. Yeah.
It's really amazing. And you see the only thing that's noticeably bigger is the rainforest and the abundance of wildlife. And for me, that's heaven.
Yeah, completely.
The reason why I give it number one spot over Africa is because I could literally go into Costa Rica tomorrow and live there and not really think much about my safety.
That's good. Yeah.
And Africa isn't that place. And I say
fair.
that with all due respect.
Yeah.
It's a very different consideration living in Africa.
Yeah.
Largely because of the disparity between the haves and the have-nots, and understandably so.
Yeah.
You know, because there's an enormous amount of disparity there. And there is disparity in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
But it's not to the extent of Africa.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people who've moved to this country from South Africa because of the fact they're getting away from the violent crime.
Yeah.
So, not that we want to get into that.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
That's probably the only reason why Costa Rica's number one.
Yeah.
As far as wildlife and its beauty, Africa, and I say Africa, this is why I said Africa as a continent. I'm talking about South Africa, Rwanda, Tanzania, Kenya, and it's those places are just off the chart.
Yeah.
Incredible. And there's many other places I'd love to visit. Gabon, Botswana, tons of them. But Costa Rica, I've spent months there, and I intend to buy a house there and retire there.
Yeah.
I do want to live there. And it's the sort of place where you can't look up into the sky and not see something. A wonderful eagle, vulture, an insect of some kind, of butterfly. Everywhere you go, you're surrounded by wildlife. It's got some of the most beautiful, raw nature that I've ever seen. And it was the other place that I talked about that was like Greystoke Mahali in Tanzania, where it looks like it's untouched by the hand of man.
Yeah.
The Osa Peninsula, and don't go, folks. Don't go. Just leave it untouched.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
The Osa Peninsula and the Corcovado National Park specifically are on the Pacific side of Costa Rica. National Geographic referred to the Corcovado National Park as the most biologically intense place on Earth.
Wow.
Where you can see, it's the size, Costa Rica is the size of Scotland. It's
Yeah.
0.4% of the world's land surface, and it contains 15% of the world's biodiversity.
Wow.
It's so you can imagine the abundance of everything.
Yeah.
And I just love it, and that's what I'm all about. So that's why it's number one for me.
Yeah,
and
that's
the fact
fantastic.
I could just go live there, and I know I would be. I think it's the third safest country in the world
Amazing.
to travel in,
Yeah.
for sure, but possibly to live in as well. It's very, very safe. It's neutral, doesn't have a military. It's like the Switzerland of Central America. Costa Rica.
Well, I think you've sold it to me, Dan. I'll be
Let's go.
honest.
Well, I'm going to buy a house there. You'll have to come visit.
Oh, could we do that? We could maybe do a little version. We could do an episode out there.
There you go. Oh, we will.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. That sounds good to me.
Mark my words, we will. Mark our words.
That sounds good. I love it. Well, on that note then, I think hopefully you've enjoyed our little trip around the world.
Yeah.
We've not been everywhere. We've not talked about half of it, really, have we? More than half of it. But I've enjoyed that. It's nice reliving
mate.
some of your conquests when you were away. And
Loved it. Tell us where you've been. Tell us where your favourite places are. Give us your top 3. Tell us in the comments. Can you share photos in YouTube comments?
I don't know.
You can share your favourite photos from your favourite destinations. We'd love to know, wouldn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
And again, talking about comments, don't forget to tell us what you'd like to hear us talk about in another episode.
Yeah. But thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Love it. See you soon.
See you later.